lift with ease. Night, night with Phee, sailing through your dreams. Oh, so free, questions flow like the tide to the sea. Night, night with Phee, where the heart meets the key. Jungle drums and a firefly glow, secrets shared where the waters flow. Take a seat on this magic ride, life's little puzzles untied with pride. Swinging lanterns, stars above, this is the cruise of life and love. Advice that's golden, stories unfold, and Phee's got the mic, hearts emboldened. Night, night with Phee, sailing through your dreams.
Welcome to Night Night with Phee, right here on the Phee Smee Network. I do appreciate you guys tuning in tonight on this Friday night. We have had some technical difficulties. We are 50 minutes late. We were 38 minutes into the program, and we had some weather, computer, sound, and everything else problems. So I have figured that out without Manly Mark's help, by the way. That way he won't be talking a lot of trash in here, saying that I had to call him. So, because I didn't call him. I do appreciate this, you guys tuning in tonight. Tonight we will talk about liquid death, the cradle of energy, Jerusalem, and lawsuits filed on vaccinations right here, right now on Night Night with Phee. I do appreciate you guys tonight on this Friday night. Let's get into some riddles of theology. I do enjoy these riddles of theology. What has a bottom at the top? What has a bottom at the top? What has a bottom at the top? That would be the correct answer if you guys get it right. What has a bottom at the top? The correct answer would be your legs. That's right, your legs have a bottom at the top. Second riddle of theology tonight. What is yellow and smells like green paint? What is yellow and smells like green paint? Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and get this riddle of theology tonight. What is yellow and smells like green paint? The correct answer would be yellow paint. And the last riddle of theology for the night. What kind of room has no doors or windows? What kind of room has no doors or windows? I believe you guys will get this. The correct answer would be a mushroom. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a mushroom. As it looks like my mic is still not where it needs to be, so if I'm going to be talking louder than normal, I certainly will. Let's get into the liquid death. We're talking about a marketing scheme. As I've told you guys before, I believe mainstream will be worshiping Satan in the last 3 years and hunting Christians and Jews. You can see that there was a poll done, and it said if you could choose one holiday to delete, which of these holidays would you delete? And it was Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter. 60% of the poll deleted Easter, and over 50% of the folks chose Halloween as their first most favorite holiday. Used to, you wouldn't see Halloween decorations up in August and September like you did Christmas decorations the day before or the day after Thanksgiving. But now you see 30, 45, even 60 days before Halloween that the Halloween decorations are up. And you'll find as this marketing that you're finding out about like Monster energy drink. Don't ever drink any energy drinks. They're terrible for you. It's like vaping. They're worse than your high fructose corn syrup soft drinks or fruit juices. But people are loving energy drinks, which is terrible for your liver and terrible for your kidneys. Just like vaping, it's 16 times worse than if you smoked a cigar or a cigarette. But people are enjoying vaping and are enjoying these energy drinks. I see them buying $3 and $4, and I see them buying 2 to 3 at a time to get them through the day. So this is a marketing ploy. I think it's very impressive what this lady's doing. I thought I would share it with you tonight. But I've had some copyright violations in the last week. So we're trying to work those things out too. But take a look here and pay attention to not only the drink and how they're marketing it, but also that they want you to sign a contract to sell your soul and you'll get extra benefits, almost like country club memberships. Take a look.
When the Bible says that the entire world is under the control of the evil one, 1 John 5:19, that means that the entire world is under the control of the evil one, and that includes the food industry. Drink at your own risk. Liquid Death hires witch doctor to hex its water. But don't worry, guys, it's just a marketing scheme. They don't stop there, though. As a part of their marketing scheme, Liquid Death water brand offered to buy customers' souls, even offers contract to put satanic deal in writing. Upon arriving, you encounter all the usual country club motives. As you wait in line, there's a mini golf game that grants you immediate access if you get a hole-in-one, a podium with a sign-in sheet, and 2 giant gold Grim Reaper statues complete with sickles. You know, the simple stuff. You will be asked to sell your soul in the form of signing a digital contract that welcomes you into the Liquid Death community, a commitment for which you receive a cool little label pin and the opportunity to see a gravity, I don't know if I can say that word on here, used by Wiz Khalifa, protected in a glass amongst a smattering of other brand-specific memorabilia. This person actually shared that contract, the bill of sale for one eternal human soul that they have, and if you sign this, you get special discounts for their products. But don't worry, it's just a marketing tactic. It's not that deep. In 2019, the company hired a witch doctor named Mystic Dylan to perform a curse on its water, making it certified cursed for Halloween. This campaign aimed to transform consumers into magnets for demons, though the company also offered a spell for 99 cents to undo the curse. More recently, in 2022, Liquid Death hired an actual witch to attend the Super Bowl and use black magic to influence the game's outcome as part of a $50,000 bet on the underdog. This stunt was another example of the brand's edgy marketing approach, which includes selling skateboards covered in Tony Hawk's blood and producing its own horror movie. In addition to these campaigns, Liquid Death has also released products like the new all-natural Steve-O Voodoo doll, which contains a pouch of Steve-O's hair and has been activated by a real witch doctor, allowing users to perform voodoo on Steve-O through the doll. Here on their account, they actually showed the witch doctor at the Super Bowl because, of course, it's just all fun and games and they're proud of it. Our witch has entered the stadium, seated in section blah. Let the black magic begin. We're ready to win this $50,000 bet on Cincinnati. To celebrate Halloween, we hired a real witch doctor to put a real curse on our October inventory. In their YouTube video, this is what he said over the water. I call on the waters of Liquid Death and curse it with a witch's breath. Curse this place, invade this product, invade those who would consume. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Towards the end of the incantation, a disclaimer adds, Liquid Death is not responsible for what the demons do to you if you decide to consume it. There is an irony to all the hocus pocus. Despite its punk rock sensibility, wild brand aesthetics with cans featuring melting skulls and medieval style fonts, as well as a slogan that states, murder your thirst, Liquid Death is actually a healthy water product. We are in very real warfare every single second of every single day, and Liquid Death is just an unveiled, in-your-face example of what is actually being done to our food and water supply. Of course, it's just under the guise of a marketing tactic or just funny, silly, ha-ha stuff, but this is actually what is happening because the entire world is under the control of Satan. Our entire food supply, our entire water supply has been tampered with. And unfortunately, I think most even believers, they underestimate the level at which the warfare is actually going on in those categories. As followers of Christ, we should be aware of the tactics of the enemy. And that means having a firm grasp, having a firm understanding of what it actually means that Satan is the God of this world, that the entire world is under the control of the evil one. I think most people are just sleepwalking in their faith. They don't understand the level of warfare that we are actually in. They don't understand that even our perfume is being cursed. There are curses being placed on our perfume, on our clothing, on our water supply, let alone the actual physical additives that are intended to take us down. This is real life warfare because Satan has his hands in literally everything. The road is narrow, y'all. And unfortunately, the majority of the world is just laughing this off. They don't take it seriously. They say that, Christians, we look too far into things. It's not that serious. But witch doctors and witches are real. They are everywhere, and they are even in our churches. We need to know, we need to be aware of what is actually going on in the demonic kingdom, in the demonic realm, because as followers of Christ, we need to understand our enemy and we need to have spiritual eyes when we look at this world. This is what the water looks like. It's literally at every grocery store, every convenience store. And I know Christians who have no problem drinking this. They think it's silly marketing. They think it's funny. And that, in all honesty, that blows my mind. That I can't grasp that. And it blows my mind the level at which we are sticking our heads in the sand. And it blows my mind that Satan is literally walking around in broad daylight, advertising what he's doing. And even people in the church just blow it off as a joke. Satan is very real. What he does is very real. He is the God of this world, lowercase g, of course, but he is in control of this world. And most of the church is ignorant of his capabilities. Most of the church is ignorant of his schemes. Most of the church are unaware of what he actually does, the extent to which he goes to take us down. We have full authority through the blood of Jesus Christ, y'all, but while we are here, this is very real warfare. If you go into battle unaware of your enemy, if you go into battle unprepared, if you go into battle blinded, you are going to be deficient in battle. And likewise, if the church doesn't understand their enemy, they're not going to know that they need to pray over every single thing that they consume. They're not going to understand that they need to avoid buying things like this. They're not going to understand that doing certain things in this world opens yourself up to demons. Like I said before, unfortunately, this applies to our entire food industry. So if you can make it from scratch, start making it from scratch. Start avoiding packaged foods. Start avoiding fast food because there are not just animals in that meat, if you get what I'm saying. This is very real warfare. Our entire world is in control of the evil one. When the Bible says that the entire world is under the...
Well, you guys can see there that the advertising and the shifting of the culture is moving to where the last 3.5 years they will be worshiping Satan instead of with symbols and secret societies and putting things out in front of you for you to make a fool out of you, like they do in the Super Bowls and the Olympics and all these other things, these halftime um, rituals. Now, with the Monster Energy drink, with the 666 in Hebrew, Unleash the Beast, people are loving it. Now you've got the Liquid Death. You're going to continue to see more and more and more, skateboards with Tony Hawk's blood on it. This is the type of thing where now it's just mainstream that between the horror movies and all of the different, zombies, Walking Dead, uh, all the marketing. It's just shifting. You guys might not be able to see it. I wouldn't have seen it. I wouldn't have ever bought it. But at the same time, if I'd have walked by it and read it, I wouldn't have stopped to investigate what it was all about. So you just need to be aware of what they're trying to do in the culture and how it just moves and it shifts very slowly to where you don't actually know what's going on. And this is real. These are people who they make you think you like you're a fool. Like, oh, that's silly. That's just a marketing deal. What are you talking about, man? You take way too too many things way too serious. You need to relax a little bit. I've been relaxed all my life, so I can assure you I'm relaxed now. Blessed to be here and thankful to be here by the grace of God. Or I'd have been dead 4 years ago, and I'm thankful for this vision. And because this vision is the reason that my Lord made me, He gave me the gifts that He gave me. And we're going to move on to now the energy of the cradle of energy, where I talked about given in the eighth grade perpetual motion energy technology. Well, I don't have one hand, so I couldn't put this together today. It was wrapped up, but I will. But this is your Sir Isaac Newton's cradle of energy right here. And what you'll find is that if you put a little thermostat on it and with a little voltage, you can turn it to any degree you want, and you can make those balls go faster or slower based on what you want the temperature to be in your heating and cooling. You to power your whole house with just that cradle of energy. Every single solitary home could have one, just like an air conditioning unit was in the backyard. It would power the whole house. You say, well, that's good for residential, but what about commercial? What about the hospitals and all the big buildings and hotels? Well, you'll see those big boxes on top, those cooling units and those heating units that are on top of those hospitals. You would just have more boxes like that instead of having it connected and hooked up to the grid. You would even have backup power in case you had a problem with one of the mechanical situations. There's an experiment that I've been telling for years. It's over 260 years old right now. It's in England, and it's been going for over 260 years. I say stop it, and when they stop it, it's got a cylinder over it. You can't see what it is, and only scientists they try to act like well, it might be this or might be that. Well, I'm telling you what it is. It's perpetual motion energy technology. They need to stop it. They need to prove because obviously it's been running for 260 years. There ain't any gas. There's not any sunlight. There's not anything except it's inside that cylinder that's making that work. Those components, which is nothing more than a perpetual motion energy technology. I always call it PMET. People said for years, well, if you could do that, why haven't you done it? Well, money. I tried to do several things when I was younger. I had I called it cold aid. But it was basically a pack that you put in the freezer, and then it would freeze. You slap it, and you would put it on your wound. I had several knee surgeries, so I developed what I called cold aid to compete with Band-Aid. And instead of having a gauze in the middle, it would have this little blue gel that you would keep cold aid in the freezer. It would clot blood quicker. It would reduce infections, and more, it would actually feel good on the wound. So you would use more of them from a marketing standpoint. But I went to Boston and I was getting that patent with a patent search, and there was a gentleman, a scientist, brilliant, that was about 17 years ahead of me. This would have been 84, 85 when I was doing this. But this scientist, in 1968 or 69, he actually had the same type of pack, frozen pack, that had medicine in it, and it was for burn victims. And as you would put the pack on the burn, as it melted, the medicine would release into the burn. So I should have partnered with him, but I had several other uh, things that I was doing at the time. I had a perfume called Infatuation. I had a North American conversion company that met with the Department of Transportation Safety. I never could understand why there wasn't seat belts in school buses, and so I wanted to put seat belts in school buses and prove to them that it would be safer for the children. But they had certain laws and regulations from a compartmentalization, which they call the egg crate concept. where if you put them so close together, they don't need seat belts. So I didn't agree with it, but that was the law and the regulation. So I want you to read the U.S. Transportation's what their stance was on not putting seat belts in school buses, and you'll find that that always bothered me. But it might seem strange, but large school buses are actually designed to be safer without seat belts than your family cars with them. This is primarily a design concept called compartmentalization. The egg cart design, instead of strapping children in school buses, use compartmentalization to protect them. The interior is designed like an egg carton, high seat belt backs. The seats are extra tall and strong to prevent children from being thrown over them. Thick padding. Each seat back is heavily padded with energy absorbing material. In a crash, a student would be cushioned by the seat in front of them, similar to an airbag. Close spacing. Seats are placed close together to limit how far a child can move during an impact. That was the stance and why they did not want to have anything to do with my North American conversion company. Because I was wondering why that they make you wear seatbelts in cars, but these school buses that kill lots of these children, why no parent ever sued them? And it's kind of like the vaccination. You don't get the opportunity to do that because they already had that on the front end. See, that was dealt with before that happened. The immunizations that you had, the vaccinations you had, there is no recourse in most countries and in most vaccinations. But now you're seeing some movement from a legal standpoint because it's just so criminal of what they've done to us. And we'll get in that a little later. But Sir Isaac Newton's The Cradle of Energy can do anything when it comes to energy. And just to be honest with you, you can power a car with water. You can put the solar receptors on every windshield and it'll be completely clear and never have to stop. You can have power whole buildings and you just put the glass as part of the design. You can see it right through them. There's several different ways that you can actually produce energy. You can stick two rods in the ground and you can create energy. You saw last night, if you watched the show, that urine will actually power a light bulb. So all of this is a misconception. All of it is a delusion. It's a facade that people can't produce. That cars have to drive on with gas, and that are batteries. That would be even worse. I mean, electric car. What are you going to do with the batteries? You going to bury them? You going to send them to space? I mean, they're not going to last forever. So that's that. That's good luck with that. And or at least our president stopped that nonsense. And the rest of the world is just they're so gone on this green peace, this polar shifting, and all these things that they say is being caused by fossil fuels. And it's just a misdirection, and it's done on purpose. But perpetual motion energy technology will work. I gave it to them in the 8th grade, and they're not going to do it. So I don't have time to do it at this point. I've got other things that are more important, and we're running out of time to build businesses. I'm not really interested in any business. I'm interested in residual income based on my products that I want to have that will help you. I'm interested in the National Electronic Communications Drill. I'm interested in some living pods for homeless. I'm interested in being able to feed the world with famines and pestilences. I'm interested in you getting off the grid and being self-sufficient. I'm interested in you being a producer rather than a consumer. I'm interested in you having clean water. And those are the type things that we've got to work on. We've got to have food and water. We've got to have nutrients. And we We can do energy. I'm going to show you we can do energy with magnets. You power a light bulb with magnets, and so you have a room lid. When you turn, instead of flipping the switch, you just take the magnet off. But you can certainly do it with perpetual motion energy technology. And I've heard it for years and years and years. If it can be done, people would have done it. Well, it can be done. It could have been done when I was 12, and it probably never will be done because utilities, municipalities, why are there more than one electric company that you can choose from? Why are there more than one water company in your town? Why are there more than one gas company in your town, natural gas company? Why is that? It's called a monopoly. You ever played Monopoly? You ever seen what those utilities will do with Monopoly? So I'm fixing to show you, not a conspiracy theorist, but a 68-year-old engineer that's worked in the utility, the power plant, and then ended up winning a lawsuit against them because they kept increasing his utility bill. So for very knowledgeable in this situation, I continue to get violations that copyright violations. So we'll do the best we can with this situation, but take a look at this because this is real, and it's not something that you're aware of. But if you'll pay attention, you'll know exactly what's going on when it comes to big energy and what they're trying to do to you.
Here's how to cut your electric bill below $50 without changing anything. People laughed when this man tried to sue the power company over his $237 electric bill. They called him crazy. They said he didn't understand how electricity works and was just wasting his time. He won. Now he'll never have to pay for electricity ever again. And you can do the same, but you'll never hear about it on the news. The settlement documents still exist, but they're sealed under a non-disclosure clause most homeowners will never see. So here's how you too can have free electricity in your home. His name is Michael Harrington. He's not a conspiracy theorist. He's not a social media influencer. He's not anti-utility. In fact, Michael is a 68-year-old retired power quality engineer from Columbus, Ohio. For 33 years, he worked on the inside of the electrical system most homeowners never see. His job was to audit residential grids, hospitals, factories, and utility substations for inefficiencies that cost millions. He was certified under IEEE power quality standards. He worked directly with regional utilities to reduce transmission losses that utilities quietly pass on to customers. He testified in regulatory hearings, filed compliance reports, and helped utilities reduce losses for their benefit, not yours. When Michael retired, he expected peace. Instead, his electric bill exploded. Same house, same square footage, same appliances, same habits. But his monthly bill jumped from $141 to $189 to $237 in under a year. That increase happened over 11 billing cycles, even though his smart meter usage report showed a 4% drop in total consumption. On a fixed retirement income, that wasn't annoying, it was infuriating. Every unexpected increase meant choosing between savings, medication, or peace of mind. Michael didn't just complain, he stopped sleeping. He printed every bill, highlighted every increase, and replayed the numbers over and over, trying to find what changed. Michael did what no normal homeowner could do. He audited his own house using professional-grade power analyzers, oscillation meters, harmonic distortion logs, thermal load scanners. What he found made him furious. More than 70% of the electricity entering his home was never powering anything. Not lights, not appliances, not heating or cooling. It was being lost as heat inside the wiring, electrical noise, voltage instability, phantom draw from idle electronics, power that left the grid, hit his meter, and vanished before doing any useful work. And here's the scam. You still pay for all of it. Modern homes are especially vulnerable. TVs, routers, chargers, smart appliances, inverter HVAC systems. Each one injects instability back into your wiring. The grid doesn't fix it, because fixing dirty power would instantly lower bills, which is exactly why utilities are financially incentivized to leave it broken. The truth is, utilities are paid for electricity delivered, not electricity used. So when power vibrates, overheats, or destabilizes inside your home, they still bill you for every lost watt. Michael pulled billing records from AEP Ohio going back 10 years. He compared delivered power versus usable power. He cross-referenced meter data with IEEE loss thresholds utilities are allowed to ignore. Then he filed a formal engineering dispute with documentation most homeowners would never know how to prepare. Load graphs, power factor breakdowns, thermal loss reports. The utility laughed. One representative told him that's just how the grid works, until regulators forced them to respond. After 9 months, 3 hearings, and thousands in expert filings, Michael won. The utility quietly settled. They paid $18,400 in overbilling, penalties, and fees. The settlement documents included a clause acknowledging avoidable residential power quality loss. No headlines, no press, no apology. And that's when Michael snapped, because the money didn't fix the real problem. Michael knew the truth. His case would be buried. No homeowner would ever go through that legal hell, and the system would keep robbing millions of families every month. Worst of all, he himself will keep getting charged for wasted electricity because they told him this is just how the energy grid is engineered. That sentence sent him over the edge. That's when his anger turned into focus. Using part of the settlement money, Michael did something the utilities never wanted. He built a solution. For decades, Michael had fixed this exact problem in hospitals and factories using power conditioning systems. But homeowners were never allowed access. Too disruptive, too effective, too threatening to billing models. So he miniaturized it. After 18 months, 47 failed prototypes, and thousands of test hours, he cracked it. A small
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, should tell you that your power companies, your energy companies, your Department of Energy, they have a plan to connect you, keep you connected, and if they don't know anything, if you don't know what they're doing, it's kind of like outer space and underground. It's kind of like if they know more than you do, like the doctor has to know more than the patient, the teacher has to know more than the student. If not, there's something out of kilter with these folks. But don't let anybody ever tell you that you have to drive a car on gas when you can drive it on corn or manure. You can do about whatever you want to if the engineering is correct. You can stick 2 rods in the ground and create electricity. You saw last night that you could actually have a light bulb that would be turned on by urine. It's all about the mechanics. And when I tell you that we're going to make it right here with magnets where you can have light in your home, lights in your home, and instead of going over to the wall and turning them off, you would take the magnet off because once that magnet goes on there, it will power that room. And it's based on we've got to get to become producers rather than consumers. You're fixing to have to become a producer, and we're going to have to be able to show you how to live off the grid, how to grow food, and in hydroponics or in your backyard. We're going to have to make sure that you realize that if those shelves are empty at the supermarket, that you're still going to be able to have, you're still going to be able to eat, and your family's going to be able to be taken care of. And those are the things that I'm working on. Livable pods for the homeless, the National Electronic Communications Drill, food that's already been approved by NASA and WHO. And it's basically nothing more than nutrients. It gets you in an alkaline environment. And we're going to continue to roll these products and show you these things because I'm well aware that when you see things like that, the first question is, well, why hasn't it been done? And the answer is always, it's not done because they don't want it to be done. They're making too much money because it's not done. And that's what you have to get into. That's what you have to realize. Before I went on this trip on 2023 in November, I spent 3 or 4 days before I left on that Thanksgiving. About 3 days before that, I spent time with a man that was at a power plant, and it's the only job he's ever had. When he got out of school, he went to work at that job, and now he's 60 something years old, and he's seen every transition, every period of time, every improvement, every new technology, and now he is the man there. Because why? AI is going to be doing it all. But if something breaks now, he's the only one that knows. And I spent over an hour with him talking to him about power plants and grids. And if you understand the way that's set up, the routes that are gone, some of them are taken offline, some of them are put online at different sections, different sectors of the country. electricity's very dangerous. It travels like 52,000 miles a second. So you're not going to be quicker than electricity. And it kills a lot of people. It should have killed me, but my Lord just blessed me. And I still got it. It happened when my oldest son was still in his mother's womb. So I wouldn't have even had 3 other children. And he'd have grown up without a father. And there's no way in the world that it shouldn't have killed me that quick. As a matter of fact, it did. An electrician 2 weeks after the exact same thing I did, standing in pouring rain with 2 inches of water right by my house, changing a fuse that I thought I'd flipped the switch, but one of the sides was broke, and that was the fuse I was putting in. And I kept hearing zzz, zzz, and my Lord was just with me. How could I have done that? When an electrician went to buy an apartment complex by the mall in my city and pulled it down, and one of the forks broke off in it. He pulled it down, thought it was them. As soon as he touched it, dead. Energy, perpetual motion energy technology is just one way. You put windshields and drive the cars or the trucks. You look completely out of office buildings, hospitals. You can do it all with just nothing more than glass. Design glass any way you want, any color you want, and make the building look however you want. But those things are not going to happen because the Department of Energy has a grid. And when that Bad Bunny singing in Spanish about a blackout coming and Americans cheered, they like to put things in front of you. So we're going to continue to prove to you and move down the road that Sir Isaac Newton and the Cradle of Energy and this experiment has been done for over 260 years in England, that they won't stop the experiment because you can't see it. It's not in a glass. It's been moving and working for 260 years, and that's perpetual motion energy technology. So I'm sure my Lord will come back and that thing will still be working. Instead of let's find out what it is while we can help do it to everybody. It reminds me of that movie, Cold Fusion. Another great way to make energy. But we'll move on. We'll move on from our seat belts and our cold aid and our national North American conversion company as had a perfume called Infatuation, and they wouldn't let me because these perfume companies they just have every name, and so now I'm going to spell it different. I'm going to spell it N and then fat PHAT, infatuation differently. It was back then. It was infatuation when feelings outgrow commitment. And one time I had a commercial for a condom. It said, "Wrap it up, I'll take it." Women's dancing on the beach. And they thought that was too risque. Now, can you imagine what they'd be doing in 40 years later? And I wouldn't be interested in that now either. But you can see that there was a whole lot of things that I had, what I should have been in college. I wasn't doing a whole lot except what I wanted to do. And those are the things that I wanted to do. But my cold aid, brilliant, and that doctor was brilliant. And people understand that 200, you need a cholesterol over 250. And the reason that I tell them that is because in burn victims, you have to get that cholesterol up. Cholesterol is essential to building new cells. And from a cellular level, you have to have cholesterol. From a regenerative level, you have to have cholesterol. You have to have salt. And you have to have water. So we're going to move right on, and we're going to start talking about these vaccinations. Because as I've told you before, there is immunity for all these folks and corporations and companies. But now the country of Denmark has subpoenaed Bill Gates, and I'm sure he's not going to go over there. But now you're starting to see states in the United States of America start filing. So take a look at this because I think this is what I've harped on now for probably, I don't know, 9 months almost. But I think this is important that you take a look at it.
Arizona did just file this bill classifying the mRNA injections as biological agents and weapons of mass destruction. And, if this bill does end up going through and being signed into law, people who are involved in the manufacturing, distribution of it, as well as administering them, would be subjected to terrorism related charges and face life imprisonment if death occurs. So, this is a very good bill. This is driven by Dr. Joseph Sansone. It's actually named after him. He has been instrumental in these bills, but a similar bill also classifying the mRNA injections as biological weapons of mass destruction was also filed in Minnesota last year. The Alliance of Indigenous Nations declared these as biological weapons as well. Last year, they're recognized by Canada on a nation to nation basis. And our peer reviewed paper we published late last year does demonstrate that these injections do violate the Biological Weapons Convention. And this all stems from the fact that we now have 32 studies showing that the COVID-19 mRNA injections resulted in increased mortality and mass death. Over 17 million worldwide, about 800,000 American deaths.
Yes, sir. Isn't it amazing that they did it on purpose? And we've got to do something about it. I hope that we can do something about it. I hope when they use terms like weapons of mass destruction and life imprisonment or death occurs, I like that because the increase in that's a very respected man, one of the most respected men in our country when it comes to these vaccinations and what they did with COVID, what they've done with these autoimmune diseases, what they did when you put aluminum in the syringe. That's a neurotoxin. And you have children that have pancreatic cancer at 3 and 4 with these turbo cancers. Don't you love the names that they make? They want to make you more aware of them. They want to create things. Then they want to label them. Then they want to tell you what they can do to help you. And all of it costs money. A cured patient is a lost customer. From a business standpoint, it should make sense to you. But when it starts talking about our business is hurting and killing people on purpose, making them sick while we have to give medicine for chronic diseases on purpose, and we're going to infect all of these young children and we're going to put them in the system at 4 and 5. If we wouldn't have got it, if Hillary Clinton would have won in 2016 or Kamala Harris would have won in 2024, you'd be a part of that United Nations and the World Health Organization, which is still doing business in your country right now in these sanctuary states. How does that happen? How does New York and California and Illinois still let these folks from the World Health Organization dictate health initiatives in those states? I just don't think that RFK Jr. is going to put up with it or our president from an executive order. Something's got to be done about it because Mr. Gates is dangerous. And I know he's got more women than he shakes a stick at, but he's dangerous. And, I have to tell you, Jeffrey Epstein, him and Bill were tight. And his wife even left him because she knows a whole lot more. She's you can tell she's got good character. And you'll have to ask that question. She's not out to rat. She's not out to gossip. She's ready to move on. But she let everybody know by the way she answered the questions what was going on. Let's go back to the Old Testament in Isaiah because people tend to want to hate the Jews in the last years. anti-Semitic, but my Lord is the King of the Jews. My God is the God of Abraham, and he loves that land, and he loves Jerusalem. And so we're not talking about the politics, the geopolitics. We're not talking about the different parties in Israel. Two of the most five holy sites of Islam is right there on that shared Temple Mount. Third temple's not there yet, but the Dome of the Rock and the Al Mosque are. So you've got atheists, you've got Muslims, you've got all kinds of folks from the Middle East and around the country that live in Jerusalem. It's about the size of Pennsylvania. The population, probably 4 million, 4.5 million for Jerusalem. You're going to have to find it. All the prophets in the Old Testament, they were giving you prophecies about this time right now. 1122 times in the Old Testament, they told you about Jesus' coming when he died on the cross. And all through there, they tell you about his second coming and what's going on in Jerusalem during that time. So if you want to go to Isaiah 54, and we'll start in verse 15. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Whosoever shall gather together against thee shall fall for thy sake. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created a waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. Now Isaiah 54 is telling you there that no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. My Lord's going to put a fire around the whole city of Jerusalem for the last 3.5 years. Folks say, well, is that symbolic? Well, he's being carried out in the lady with the 12 stars is being carried out into the wilderness by the two wings of a great eagle. That's the United States. The United States, Jordan, and Israel will be the only three countries that aren't in the United Nations. So as the whole world is coming after Jerusalem, it takes 3.5 years before the city starts to fall. The witnesses are laying out in the street, dead for 3.5 days, and here come the armies coming down to invade. You don't invade things you already have conquered. So it's taken them the last 3.5 years. The wrath of Satan, since he stood in that temple, broke those daily sacrifices, breaking that covenant with many. 3.5 years with the world trying to get that place. That's how strong that we are in Israel is for the last 3.5 years. And as they finally think they're going to defeat us, when those two witnesses ascend, the next verse is the seventh trumpet. So we're going to win at the Battle of Armageddon, and the wrath of God is going to be there while we're up getting our rewards and preparing to come back with battle. Because we've got responsibilities on earth when we finish winning. For 1,000 years, we're going to be priests. We're going to have responsibilities for my Lord's kingdom based on our work here, our rewards that we get here on earth while we're alive. Remember, you're saved by grace based on what my Lord Jesus Christ did on the cross. All you have to accept him and believe him and be born again of the water and the Spirit, like he told Nicodemus. And you will enter the kingdom of God. But that gate's narrow. And if you don't know that, I'm going to talk Monday to you about the parable of the 4 seeds. Because remember, with authority and the concept of time, you will reap a harvest. That's my Lord's word. That's how powerful he is. But no weapon formed against thee will prosper. So no matter what they have, my Lord's, he's strong. And know how strong Satan is. And he's powerful. And you're fighting against Ephesians 6:12. You're fighting against principalities, against evil spirits in high places. That's folks that control everything. You live in an invisible digital cage now. They're going to try to plug you in with Neuralinks. They're going to try to plug you in and limit you with your digital income and your ID and your programmable money that they're going to be able to take away and tell you how to spend it. And with your social credit score, you've seen it in Canada, you've seen it in the UK, it's all over Europe. Who can make war against the beast? Because at the war of heaven, he comes down here to slay and to kill, to captive the Christians, the saints, the elect. And that's why we need to prepare and become producers rather than consumers. These are the type of things that we need to be doing because it takes time to plan. But the cradle of energy we can do, and the hydroponics we can do, and the National Electronic Communications Drill we can do. We can get some communications. We can get some food. We can get some water. We can get some nutrients. We're going to be able to get it done. But we've got to get people's attention in order to do it because they don't believe it's going to happen. And once it starts happening, it's too late to prepare, if that makes sense to you. Once the game started, if you hadn't prepared for the week, you're not going to play well. And you're going to have a bad outcome, a bad result, a loss. So Isaiah in the Old Testament, one of the best prophets, one of the longest books in the Old Testament. This is Isaiah 54, 15 through 17. Tells you how important my Lord, Jerusalem, is to my Lord. And he's the King of the Jews. And when he comes back, the church has taken the place of the Jews because they accepted Christ and the Jews rejected him. The first church is Jews and Gentiles. The last church is Jews and Gentiles. He will give them another chance, as he's told them he will take the scales off their eyes. So do not hate the Jews as the rest of the world and your own country is going to start doing. And don't be misled based on where they're all bad people. Because my Lord scattered them all over the world. And that would be like saying that we're the United States, citizens of the United States are bad people because Joe Biden, or because of George Bush, or because of Bill Clinton, or because of what they're doing with all these children. Sacrifice them. Making shoes out of their flesh. People talk about on the internet. I think these folks are crazy. Those shoes are painted with blood. No, see, again, let's do a little chemistry. Dried blood is brown. That flesh is, they dye those shoes. They're red. But what the shoe's made out of is the key. And these people are worshiping and sacrificing to the god of Molech. So don't be in fear. This is not a time for fear. This is a time to get ready to rock and roll. This is time to be aggressive. This is a time to get after it. This is time to prepare to be producers instead of consumers. Because you know how they're marketing. You know what they do. They bring out a roll out a new product, they price it high, and everybody wants it, and only a certain few can have it. And as they drop the price, everybody can't wait to get it. Management, marketing, advertising. It's all good. It's all capitalism. But when you tie it to Satan, you tie it to the death and sacrifice of children. That's going over the line. My Lord's not going to stand for it. The wrath is going to come up in his face. Can you imagine an all-powerful, mighty God watching his innocent children being sacrificed? All of them are named for Beelzebub, all that, Baal, all names for Satan. Demonic agents, a Luciferian government, a synagogue of Satan, the United Nations, bankers, 15 to 1600s. It's been going back since the beginning of time, folks. This is not something that they just started again. This is something that they can't wait to get into. Generation to generation to generation. That's your world lead in every facet and every sector, including your churches and religions and denominations. I've got a clip, and I'm going to show you. It's just going to make you sick at your stomach when I do. And I'm going to hold it because I don't know if you're ready for it yet, you conservative Republicans. I don't know if you're ready for it, but I'm going to show it to you. Isaiah 54, another prophet from the Old Testament, telling you in the end of times what my Lord's going to do to all of these people that try. If it's not, they're going to cut him into pieces and give him his portion, like Jesus said. This is Isaiah in the Old Testament saying, no weapon formed will prosper against you. No tongue that comes against you will not be condemned. Folks, get on your Lord's team. Get on Jesus' team. I can tell you this. There's not a better decision that you can ever make it for the rest of your life than to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Remember what he says over and over and over in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those who want to save their lives will lose it. But those that lose their lives will save it. That's the mentality we're fixing to have to get to. Because you're fixing to be fighting against people that think it is a blessing and they will be rewarded and are willing to die to blow you up. They're going to be, as soon as it happens, there'll be 72 virgins waiting on them. That's a formidable opponent. I hope you guys have a great weekend tonight, this weekend. Thank you for tuning in to Night with Phee on the Phee Smee Network. And remember, no matter what you're doing, you're missing something. So let's make what we're doing worth what we're missing. And Night said to cricket. Night said to whale. Night crazy boy. Night crazy girl. Only time will tell. Only time will tell, guys. God bless you. Night.
Hear a soulful tune. Night with Phee, like a mellow monsoon. When the world gets loud, find a calm in the night. Phee's got the glow like a soft candlelight. Advice rolls in like waves rolling tight.